Hey folks, I'm here to make my first video that is not part of the A to Z cosplay answer in 5 challenge, and today I'm talking about one of my absolute favorite TV shows, which just had its 4th season premiere. The TV show is Longmire, and it's based off of a series of books by author Craig Johnson, which have been coming out since the mid-1990s, and got turned into a TV show here about 4 years ago on the A&E channel. The series was canceled at the end of its 3rd season on A&E for reasons that really haven't been well explained. The series was getting anywhere between 3.6 to almost 4 million viewers per episode, which for a small channel like A&E was very, very good, especially because, I mean, the only other show of any note on A&E was Duck Dynasty, and for somebody like me who absolutely disdains and cannot stomach reality TV show, once Longmire was gone, I had no reason to continue to watch A&E. In fact, that is one of the absolute draws of the Longmire series to me. It's 180 degrees off of reality TV. Again, it's based off of a book series set in the fictional county of Absaroka in rural Wyoming. Is there really such a thing as non-rural Wyoming? I don't know. I haven't spent a whole lot of time there. But the series, when it was made, rather than filmed in Wyoming, it's actually filmed in New Mexico, which is a state that I've spent a good chunk of my life in. In fact, it's filmed in northern New Mexico, primarily in Las Vegas. That's Las Vegas, New Mexico, not Nevada. Yes, there's more than one. Don't panic. It's okay. You can still go gamble in Nevada. But the show is filmed primarily there, with parts of it also being filmed near Jemez Springs, which is an area that I am personally very, very familiar with, having gone hiking up and camping up in the area with my family many, many times. And the TV show really does a very good job of using that beautiful New Mexico landscape to capture that sense of openness, and the landscape almost becomes an additional character in the TV show. Now, the main character, Walt Longmire, is played by Robert Taylor, who you may or may not know from other roles such as Agent Jones in The Matrix, and it's supported by Lou Diamond Phillips, who plays Henry Standing Bear from the books, and Katie Sackhoff, who everybody knows from Battlestar Galactica, who plays an inexplicably blonde Vic Moretti, the foul-mouthed, highly aggressive female cop. This season, the main antagonist has been Gerald Mcgrain, who does an absolutely wonderful job of just being one of the best villains that I've seen on scripted television in a long, long time. He really nails the part. Now, this season is a little bit different in that it's a mixture of serial, as far as we pick up where Season 3 left off, which is, not to give away too many details, but Season 3 left us with a cliffhanger as far as, was one of the main characters killed, was he not? We ultimately do find out that he was, so the first half of the season is dedicated to Walt finding out who killed him, and ultimately turns out to be the same person who also killed Walt's wife a number of years earlier. The second half is dedicated to a completely original story arc that delves much, much more into the Native American culture which exists not only in New Mexico but also Wyoming. In fact, this season does a very, very good job of capturing a lot of the poverty and desperation that exists on many Native American reservations throughout the West, which again is something that I've had a little bit of experience with, having spent so much time in New Mexico. The season also deals with several other topics that in 2 specific episodes that really make it a very, very good season. One, War Eagle, they touch on the American internment camps that were here in the United States, where the United States imprisoned tens of thousands of U.S. citizens simply because of their ethnic heritage during World War II. You can look more into that online on your own. That would be a whole other video there. Needless to say, George Takei from Star Trek, that's kind of become his cause celeb in the last few years. And then there's another episode that deals very closely with a lot of the inadequacies of the Veterans Administration right now, which is very interesting. Number one, for me, I got out of the Army in 2012, and even now, as we're rounding the bases heading into 2016, I'm still waiting on my claims to be settled. And it's really interesting because in the book, the character of Walt Longmire is a Vietnam veteran, a Purple Heart veteran, as is Henry Standing Bear. So they really touch on that as well, which I think they do a very, very good job of capturing the frustration and ultimately a lot of the hopelessness that a lot of veterans have. You know, especially a lot of veterans who are not as lucky as I was in their service. You know, veterans who need a lot more help and who need a lot more help and a lot quicker than I ever would. But beyond that, the other thing that I really enjoyed about the season is they've allowed the characters to become damaged. In a lot of TV shows, such as Law and Order, CSI, you know, really even Star Trek, the characters, they all go through all these traumas. And very often, from episode to episode, you know, these traumas really don't take an effect on them. And one example of that, to me, in Star Trek The Next Generation, Captain Picard is captured, held as a prisoner of war, and tortured. Well, by the next episode, it's like it never even happened. In Longmire, the characters are allowed to reflect the damage that they accrue over time. Vic is held hostage and pretty severely accosted in the previous season, and there's an instance in the new season, completely unrelated, where she experiences a flashback. Again, that's a perfectly normal response for somebody who had the kind of trauma that her character is shown as having suffered. Walt is allowed to deal with his own trauma. Henry Standing Bear, who in the previous season was wrongly accused and imprisoned and lost a lot of his life's work, becomes a vigilante on the reservation, taking up causes where the legal system is either unable or unwilling to help out the individuals living on the Native American reservation. So again, the characters, I think, have a lot of dimensionality to them that you don't always see, and it's been through the fact that they're allowing these characters to not be impervious to the experiences that they're having, which happens so often in scripted fictional television. Beyond that, they do an excellent job of capturing the poverty. The cinematography has really stepped up this season. Once again, strong, in-depth, complicated characters. You know, it does a very good job of setting what is ostensibly a police procedural TV show in a rural area, which helps set it apart from, again, the aforementioned Law and Order, CSI, 24, things like that, and really makes it something new and original in sort of a area of entertainment that is pretty heavily saturated at this point. So the TV show has received basically universal positive responses, not just from fans of the books and the previous season, such as myself, but also from your professional critics. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. If you've not seen the series, you can start with the series, and if it really grabs you like it did me, then the good news is there are a dozen books out there waiting for you which go even more in depth. I'm kind of hoping to see one of the characters that has been absent from the TV show but plays a big role in the books show up. I would love to see Walt's dog, which he has very creatively named Dog. Yeah, he's just that kind of guy. But check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. I know that I did. So, and I will see you guys next time.